Hi, I'm Kate, and today I'm going to show you how to make leather elbow patches, which can be a really fun embellishment for knitted garments, which is what I use them for, or even for sewn objects. So I have a template available on my website, that's tottoppers.com, and this template shows you 3 different sizes of patches that you can make. There's an infant and toddler size, a child, teen, and adult woman size, and an adult male size. So you can do these for any size or any project. You can download the template, and most of the instructions are also written there, so you don't even really need to watch this video because it's so easy. And all you need is a leather punch or an awl, and these look like really fancy things, but they're not. You can get these at craft stores, and they're really inexpensive, especially the awl. And if you're going to just be making one set of patches or a couple, then this is really all you need, although the punch does make it easier. Of course, you're going to need some leather to make your patches with. I got my leather at an actual leather store who sells scraps, and I don't live in a really exciting place with a lot of stores, so it might be worth looking around to see if you can find a leather store like that. Another place you can find this kind of leather is at a craft store. A lot of craft stores have a leather section, so you can look for it there. There may not be as many color varieties available, but it'll definitely do, and it'll look really cute once you make these patches. You can also ask the Boy Scouts of your area if they know of any leather supply store, because a lot of times they do projects that require leather, so they actually are well aware of that. So there's lots of ways you can get your leather. And when getting your leather, you also need to get your leather cording, which you'll use to attach your patch onto your finished project. So you'll make sure to get that too. Once you've done all of that, you'll have just a couple other household things. You need a pair of scissors, and you're going to need a needle that will work to sew your patch onto your garment. Okay, the first thing you want to do is cut out your appropriate patch. So I'm going to be using the infant toddler size here as an example. So that out, and I'm not really going to do a great job because I've already cut out my piece of leather here to show you. So really easy, you just cut out that. Then the next slightly more tricky part is when you put it on your leather, you actually do not want to use pins to attach this, because once you poke a hole in leather, it will show, and you don't really want that to be in the wrong place on your elbow patch. So if you do want to use a pin, make sure that you poke it through one of the holes that are shown on the template, which you're going to be later using those holes to attach the patch to the garment. I don't bother pinning it, I just kind of hold it down, and I don't find it very difficult at all to hold down the patch while I'm cutting it out on the leather. Although the larger sizes, this might be more of an issue. So once you've cut out your patch, your leather tool in order to make the holes, and you don't actually need to cut these holes out that are on the template at all. You can just go straight through them with whichever tool you use. The easier tool here is the punch, and I think this was like $8 at a craft store, so it's really not very expensive. Just center over the hole and click. And as I'm going all the way around, you know, again, I'm not pinning this, I don't have this pinned down, I'm just kind of holding to make sure. And it's just like if you're cutting multiple pieces of paper, you know, they will slide a little bit, so you just want to check after each hole that your paper is still in the right place, so you're going to have your holes appropriately spaced. The only trick to really the hole placement is that the way I've designed the templates, you've got holes that are 1/4 inch away from the side of the garment, or the side of the patch, which is about what you want. If you get much further than that, you're going to see extra thread you may not want, and if it's closer than that, you're going to possibly rip your leather as you're threading it, or with wear over time. So 1/4 inch is about a good width away from the edge, so you don't even have to use these holes. If you feel comfortable just kind of clicking along and guesstimating where they want to be, that's fine too. If you're going to use the awl, it's the same thing. You want to be on a surface that you don't mind damaging. This is my kitchen table, but it's not in great shape, so I don't mind. You just stick your piece through, and like I said, it's not quite as easy as the punch, but it goes through pretty well, and then you just keep going, working it down until it's the width that you want. And here's just a close-up of using the awl. Again, just working it down in there physically. No real science to it. So that's how you make your holes. Once you've got all your holes in, you're ready to attach your patch onto your garment. So all you need to do is cut off your thread now. A good guideline for the thread is about 30 inches for the infant size, 45 inches for the larger size, and then the largest size I have, 60 inches, will be more than enough thread to attach that all the way around your garment. And you can just use a yarn needle and thread in order to get these through. If your holes are big enough, you're not going to have a problem getting that yarn needle through. It goes right through. As far as placement of the patches goes, it's really best if you can try your garment on and mark the placement of the patches on the garment while the wearer is wearing it. And the reason for this is because this is a really hard thing to place without that. You can see on my sweater here, they're about 2/3 of the way down. Kind of the top of the elbow patch is almost centered lengthwise on the sweater, and this is the back of my sweater, so you would want it to be at the back. And I have tried this on my son. This is an 18-month-old sweater, so I've tried it on him and I've marked the placement, and it works pretty well. Also, the good thing is, you know, when you're dealing with a smaller sweater, there's not that much space on the sleeve, so you're sort of covered no matter what. And this is nothing precise, so you don't need to stress out too much over the placement. If you do have to guesstimate, then you'll be okay. Just remember not to center it, but to put it a little bit more towards the forearm than you might expect. So when you're sewing your elbow patch onto your garment, you just want to come in from the wrong side of the garment, directly up through the hole. And I like it to be at a diagonal, so I'll insert back kind of like that in order to get the diagonal thread to show through. And you don't want to pull it too tightly because you don't want it to pucker. And once you get all the way around, I'm just going to pretend like I've gone all the way around here to show you. You will need to knot or tie off your thread. I don't do anything fancy here. I might go in a couple times, just a couple extra stitches on the back side, and then I just knot it very unexcitingly. Another thing that I've tried to do, and I've done it several times, is sometimes you can actually get it so that you thread your loose end back inside, and then you can get your starting end also back inside. And by doing that, you can actually make your knot so that it's in between the elbow patch and the fabric instead of having it be on the side where the person's arm would be. And it's a little bit more tricky because obviously if you have everything sewn down, your space to make that happen is a lot smaller, but it's worth a shot if you can try it. There you have it, a fun embellishment for any knitted sweater or sewn sweater, or maybe even a garment that you already own that you want to spice up or repair. If you don't have the materials or the time to make these patches yourself, you can also purchase them pre-cut and pre-punched on my website.